I think the title of this video already explains a lot. So before I start listing all the 12 truths that I learned over the years by freelancing on Upwork, I just want to mention that I've been doing freelancing for 10 years, actually almost 11 years now, and 7 of them were on Upwork itself. And during that time, I earned over $80,000 on Upwork, and I learned a thing or two. So I just want to share that with you. Let's start with the first one, and it is that the first few months on Upwork are brutal. It's very difficult to get started on Upwork, and I think as time goes on, the platform itself doesn't make easy to get started on Upwork, which I think is one of the biggest disadvantages of the company as a whole, since if they attract more freelancers, they would get, better quality of freelancers and all of that stuff. So I think it's just kind of on them. But I didn't know how difficult it would be until I signed up and tried to build my profile. When your profile is new, you have no jobs, no ratings, no earnings, no top badges, nothing. It's very, very difficult to get that first job. It's very difficult to get that first review. When I started, it took me 2 months of sending proposals every single 2 months of sending proposals every single day before I landed my first job. That's over 60 days of every single day sending proposals. So imagine me being on that 55th day and not getting anything. I was this close to actually just quitting, deleting my profile and just never returning to Upwork. I'm really glad that I didn't, but I wish I knew how difficult it was going in, so I would have been more mentally prepared and knew what to expect. Because when I started, I didn't know how brutal it was. I kind of got through it somehow, but I know that many people don't. They come in with very high expectations and then they quit after 2 to 3 weeks, 1 month tops, and they quit with only sending like 20 to 30 proposals. I think I sent easily over 100 proposals just to get the first one. Second truth is that high fees on Upwork really cut in your earnings. At first, you don't really think about that. I mean, you just want to get a job and start earning some money and start freelancing. And nowadays, Upwork only takes 10%. And looking at that number, you might not think that is a lot and it looks kind of all right. But if you really think about it, it does add up the more you work on Upwork. Let's say you make $1,000 per month from Upwork. That's $12,000 per year. But that's $1,200 in fees per year just because you work on Upwork. That's a whole month's of your salary just gone into fees. And you see how that can add up the more you are earning on Upwork. So it's definitely very difficult with the fees. And again, when I went into Upwork, I didn't really think about that. But I wish I knew and set my expectations right that Upwork is charging quite a lot. And in some countries, if your country charges VAT on certain things, for example, in Lithuania, I do, Upwork charges me 21% on top of the 10% of the service fees. So my total, just to make it simple, my actual total fees come down to 13% 13% instead of 10, because there is also VAT on top of that service fee. So again, you slowly start adding a couple of percentages there and there, and you see where I'm going. The fees are definitely getting into your earnings quite a bit the more you work on this platform. The third truth and the sad reality that I only found out after probably a year working on Upwork is that low-paying clients really dominate the platform. And that is really unfortunate because you have to sift through so many proposals and so many bad clients and job offers and anything just to find something that is actually good. Again, if I knew that going into Upwork, if I knew that expectation going in, I might have looked at it differently and used it differently for different purposes and different types of jobs. But you can only find this out if you actually start working on Upwork and then start applying and actually go through and work with those bad clients and low paying clients. And only then you understand that, which is a bit insane that it took me like a year just working on Upwork to get this point and understand how the whole system works. Fourth truth is that long-term clients are quite rare on the platform. Yes, you can still find very good opportunities on Upwork, but it's very difficult. There are not many very good long-term projects or clients on the platform, so it's quite difficult for you to find one. For example, I actually applied to over 1,000 jobs on Upwork. I even made a separate video talking about all of the lessons that I learned applying to over 1,000 jobs on Upwork. I'll link it somewhere in the description. But I only got 24 contracts from 1,000 applications. That is just 2.5% conversion fee. Although I do want to caveat that yes, I was only applying to higher quality clients. I was only going for long-term projects. So for me, those 24 projects earned like a lot since I was going for like monthly retainers and that type of jobs. But still, you need 1,000 applications just to get 24 contracts throughout 7 years. That's very difficult to swallow. The fifth truth that I learned is probably one of the most important ones, is that you cannot rely only on Upwork as your main source of freelancing income. I learned this after probably freelancing for like maybe 3-4 years before I started to diversify. At one point, at several years, I was only working on Upwork, and I don't want anyone to repeat this mistake. If you get too attached to a platform, then the platform starts to control you. Meaning, in case they up their fees, there's nothing you can do. If Upwork is the only source of your freelancing income, if they change some rules, if they, God forbid, they ban you from platform because you made a mistake or something like that. So if you only work on Upwork, you are putting yourself at a very high risk of just losing everything in an instant. So although Upwork still has some great opportunities, never rely only on Upwork to be your only source of freelancing clients and income. You always need to diversify and look for clients either on other platforms or other means like networking, personal branding, social media, etc. The sixth truth is that your profile matters a lot more than you think it matters. A lot of people I see spending 5, maybe 10 minutes on their profile. You know, you go on Upwork.com, you sign up on a platform, it asks you to put your name, your headline, what you do, your skills. You know, you filled it out in like 5, maybe to 10 minutes, and that's it. And you forget, and then you start applying to jobs. But I mean, it took me also a while before I realized how valuable every single piece of thing on your profile is, and how much attention you need to pay to your profile photo, to the headline, to the introduction that you write, to all of the certifications and additional things that Upwork allows you to do. There is so much more to optimize. And since I also hired a lot of people on Upwork for my own personal projects, I have seen hundreds, probably not thousands, but like, yeah, definitely hundreds of profiles that are very, very, very poorly optimized. And that is when I realized that, hey, I need to work on my profile a lot more if I want to get jobs on Upwork. I actually recently did a video going over someone's Upwork profile and then analyzing what I would do differently, how would I optimize it, and how would I make it better. So again, I'll leave the link in the description if you want to check it out after this video. But I also am doing personalized Upwork profile reviews. So if you're interested in that, there's also going to be a link in the description. Seventh truth is that your proposals need to be strategic. You have no idea how many, as a client, how many times I've seen so many generic proposals, sometimes even just, hey, give me a job or something like that. It's crazy how people do not put effort into their proposals, answering questions, providing more details about them. It's, hey, I'm a graphic designer expert, hire me, or something like that. It's crazy to me that people put so much effort into the actual job proposals. But you need to be strategic. You need to read the proposal of the job, see what the client wants, try to get a sense of what type of client that is. Look at their previous job offers that they actually made to other freelancers. There is a lot more to think about than just writing 2 sentences and sending your proposal. I mean, it will instantly be archived. 8th truth I learned, and I'm glad I learned it very early on, is that chasing clients is very exhausting. At one point I was only doing like these kind of mid to short term projects, which took like 1 month to like 2 to 3 months, something like that. So, let's say on average like 1.5 or 2 months. But it was very exhausting since I always needed to find more clients and more clients. I always needed to apply to more jobs and more jobs. And at some point, I got really, really tired of this because it is difficult because you always start the same wheel all over again, going on sales calls, meeting with clients, going through the same thing. Because in SEO, all of the projects usually start as kind of the same way, with the audit, with the strategy, with the, on-site SEO, all of that stuff. So I was just redoing the same things all over again. And it is exhausting to do all of these things so often and so much. And that is when I realized that I need to go for long-term projects, at least 6 months, but I'm kind of aiming for 1 year or more. Because once I sign up with clients, first of all, I can actually deliver way better results in SEO if I sign clients that are long-term partnerships. And second of all, I don't really need to worry about chasing and applying to jobs every couple of months. If I have just 3 to 4 clients that are kind of long-term projects, I'm already quite set. It doesn't mean that I don't go and look for other opportunities, but it's way more relaxed than when I was kind of opening contracts and closing contracts so often before. The 9th truth is that burnout is real. If we compare like 9-to-5 job, usually a 9-to-5 job, you do have different tasks and all of that, but it's kind of just one client per se. There is just, usually your tasks are very straightforward and you only need to do one thing for one person. You have only one boss, one manager, one team. It's very aligned. Everything is very, very aligned. So whatever you do, you're still moving towards the same path. With freelancing, there is a burnout possibility, a real burnout possibility, because you're juggling a lot of different clients and projects at the same time. Just imagine if you worked into 9-to-5 job, just imagine doing 9-to-5, but at 3-4 different companies all at the same time. You go 3 hours to one office, then you go 3 hours to another office, and then another 3 hours to another office. And then each of the office is a completely different company, completely different niche, completely different managers, bosses, teams, and everything. You see how confusing and how difficult that might be. I don't want to discourage freelancing. I personally think it's amazing. But it's something I only realized after freelancing for several years and saw that if I get too many projects at the same time, there is a possibility for me to burn out. So you need to manage your projects and how much you charge per project and what type of clients you work with, so that you are able to manage everything and juggle all of the clients and communication and projects basically at the same time. The 10th thing is very, very, very important. You need to understand that you are not just a freelancer, you're actually running a business. People usually think about freelancers as someone just doing 9-to-5, but they don't have a full-time contract, and that's it. That's the only difference. But there is so much more of freelancing. Beyond just your expertise, whatever that you do, whatever your skill is, you also need to know about accounting. You also need to know about sales. You also need to be good at communication. Those will also help at your 9-to-5 job again, but they are crucial to have when you're a freelancer, because once you get a job at a company, you can work there for years and years on, and you don't really need sales, you don't really need to worry about accounting, nothing like that. Client management, that's not even a thing. But once you are a freelancer, you are kind of one-man business, and these things, they pop up. For example, I need to pay and sort out my own taxes because I work, as a solopreneur. Although now I do have a company. Before I used to only have a solopreneurship type of company set up here in Lithuania. So there is a lot of additional things I need to worry about, calculate. Another thing, you need to actually track your income. This is just becomes part of it because you don't know how much you're going to be earning from one month to another. You need to budget a lot more. You need to save a lot more. You need to track your income. You need to manage clients. You need to open different softwares to have everything set up. You need to sort of organize your email in a way that works for you. It is more than just freelancing. It is a business that you're running. So if you are if you're a freelancer yourself, remember, it's not just freelancing, it's a business. And if you start looking at it from a business perspective, you can start optimizing it as a business, and that's where all of the good things come from. And just to add to this point, the 11th truth is that your skills alone won't make you successful. If you are good at what you do, let's say you are really, really good graphic designer, all of the software to use, you can do some very advanced stuff. It doesn't really matter if you cannot sell yourself. Let's say you're on Upwork and you wanna get some jobs. You actually need to worry about your profile, optimizing that. So you need to be good at copywriting. You need to be good at presenting yourself. You even need to know how to take a good photo of yourself. You need to. People suggest people having a video, introduction on Upwork, which means you need to kind of know how to present on camera. And I'm not even talking about being a good communicator and a salesperson. Whenever you talk to potential clients, you need to convince them that you're the best. And then if you actually jump on a call with them, you need to sell yourself. So you haven't even gotten a job or a contract. There's such a big list of things that you need to know and need to do. So the most successful freelancers are not necessarily the best at their job. They just know how to do all of the other stuff. I'm not saying that, of course, you need to learn your craft and you need to be very good and you need to try to strive to be the best at what you do, but do not forget marketing. Do not forget sales. Do not forget being presentable in photos or on camera. These are all of the very, very important things that will make you successful. The 12th truth is that competition is global. And since you're on Upwork, you need to understand that you're competing with the whole world. Instead of you just applying for one company, especially if it's a local company, that company might get like maybe 20, 30 applicants, something like that. And you might get a way better chance of getting in. But on Upwork, anyone from the world can make a proposal. That's why you see like 50 plus proposals on Upwork jobs. There is a lot of people from a lot of countries competing. And this is something I didn't really think about or realize when I signed up on Upwork. But when you stop and think about it, it's a major thing that you need to understand. The competition is global, which means you're not just competing with any local freelancers, you're competing with everyone that can either undercut you or overcut you. There are like amazingly skilled freelancers somewhere, probably in USA, in UK, and then there might be some also very skilled professionals, but they might be from Philippines, from Vietnam, from India, and they might charge like half of the fees that other freelancers charge. So there is a whole of this balancing act that you need to understand on Upwork. So this becomes very crucial whenever you choose which jobs to apply, because you need to see what clients are looking for. if you understand, if you sort of get into their stats of what they hired before, what type of job proposal they wrote, job offer they wrote, if you combine all of these things, you can start to see what type of client that is and what they're looking for. And your job is to distinguish between the clients that are not looking for your type of services and go with the clients that are looking for your type of service. But if you want to learn more of how to succeed as a freelancer, I have a newsletter where I share everything that I learned in the last 10 years of being a freelancer, all the strategies that I use, how I get clients, how I build my personal branding. Everything is in there. So there's going to be a link in the description if you want to sign up. But if it's too early for you and you want to watch another video, YouTube recommends this one, so check it out.